Hi, welcome back to another Serger Tip Clip. Today I'd like to show you how to turn plain elastic into custom colored Serger embellished elastic. This is a technique I figured out a few years back when I made a jacket that actually was one of the winners in the American Sewing Guild's Remake, Reuse, Restyle contest. It was one of my collagette jackets and I used my mom's sweaters. And I had a very large antique button on the top and two smaller ones toward the bottom for closures on the front. And I didn't want to have a buttonhole for the two smaller ones on the lower side of the jacket. I wanted button and loop closures. And I was trying to figure out how to make the elastic look nicer. And I was going to try doing a hand buttonhole stitch to cover the elastic. And then I thought, wait a minute, let's see if I can figure out how to do this on my serger. So it took a little playing around and adjusting and fiddling with different settings, but I finally got a look that I liked. And I'll talk to you about all of those and when we go to the machine. But in the meantime, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss a stitch. You'll get a notification in your inbox that I posted a new one, and please send along your questions, comments, and suggestions for upcoming tip clips. I like to hear them. Okay, we're at the machine, and I have my clear standard foot on. Let's go over the settings. I have 3 serger cone threads set up, upper looper, lower looper, and the needle. Now, typically with a rolled hem, you would have your needle in the right overlock needle position. For this technique, to give us a couple of more millimeters of room, I've moved the needle to the left. However, the thread is going through the right needle threading root and tension disc. I have my stitch width on M. I have locked the blade because I'm using the clear foot today so that you can see what's going on with the elastic as it passes under the foot. I have my stitch length. I'm going to adjust that down to 1 on the rolled hem setting, which means that the stitch finger has been disengaged. So if you have a machine where you have to manually disengage or remove your stitch finger, make sure you do that. The blade is locked because I don't have a foot on with a guide. If I had my blind hem foot on or even a lace applicator foot that had a guide to protect the elastic from the knife, I wouldn't need to bother locking it, but I am for this. I have my stitch selector on D as in delicate. You'll check your tension settings if you have manual adjustments to make for your rolled hem setting, and as always, you'll test before you actually go onto your elastic itself. But you want to make a couple of practice runs, so buy enough elastic to try it out. And if you're going to make multiple button loops, cut a big long piece of elastic and do it all in one pass, and then you can cut the elastic to the length segments that you need for each loop. And it makes it easier also to get it in back of the foot to start with. So I like to cut it longer. My differential feed is on N or 1 on your machines you might have. And you don't want to stretch your elastic as it goes through. Just allow the machine to stitch it. And you don't want your needle piercing the elastic. So I'm going to scoot this in under the foot from the right. And let me just get it in here. And I want a little bit to the back of my presser foot, right back here that you can see. And so I have that, and I have a little thread tail here that I want to pull out of the way. And I'm only going to do a few inches. So let's put our presser foot down and our needle down, and make sure the needle is to the left of the elastic. You don't want it piercing the elastic, and that looks good. So I'm just going to hold the elastic from the back, not pull it, but just help it along. And let's start stitching. And again, I'm just going to do a few inches. I think that's good. So let me just raise the pressure foot a little bit and pivot the elastic, and we can chain off. Good. I'll clip my thread tail. And let's take a look at the first pass. We're going to do this twice, and you'll see why. It looks good. It looks like full coverage, but when I open it up or stretch the elastic, you can still see a little bit of the white elastic peeking through. So we want nice full coverage, and I'm going to lengthen my stitch to about 1.5. You can probably go up even a little bit more, and we're going to just repeat the same process. Let me raise my presser foot, scoop this in so it's to the right of my needle. I'm going to put the presser foot back down, and we're just going to do the same thing again. So we're all set. Okay, that's good. It looks like the elastic is kind of hanging out to the right, but as it stitches, the machine does pull it into the correct position. I'm pivoting off. And let's cut the thread tails and see what it looks like with the second pass. Let me cut this beginning. I think I caught a little bit of the thread tail in the stitching on that second go, but we'll be careful. All right, that looks really well covered, and even when I stretch the elastic, you're not seeing any of it showing through the stitching. So I hope you try this at home, and if you have projects that you want to do, you can really customize the look of an elastic loop for your closure.
Don't go away yet. I've got 2 more jackets to show you. The first one, the red, black, gray, and white, is template set 1, as is the beige and white one that you saw earlier in the recording. And the second one, that is different shades of red, is template set 2. All 3 of the jackets have the Serger embellished elastic button loops. So have fun with the technique, try it out, and I hope you love it as much as I do.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you try this technique out. It's great on tote bags and garments, as well as home decor items. And if you do and you want to send in a photograph, I'd love to post them for you. See you again soon.